Yes? What is it you need? Have you news? And what did she have to say? That's true. Hundreds of years, if you must know. Slowly, the Dalish will all know once again the agelessness of the elves. For now, only a few of us have regained that ability. But I cannot say any more on that. I trust your curiosity is sated. I would rather not speak of it. It is very painful for me, even now after so long. The werewolves were responsible. That is all you need to know, and should adequately explain my hatred of them, no? Let us leave it at that. Then I suggest you see Master Verathorn. I will instruct him to put aside some supplies for you, the kind that the hunters use. I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
I would have thought saving the surface would have involved less walking.
Little legs getting tired?
I thought these people had animals, horses and such.
In Orlais, perhaps, but not here. If you like, I could hoist you up on my back.
Hey now, don't start with the...
Yes, climb up, and I'll cart you around like a child. Marvelous fun.
You knife-eared pipe cleaner. You couldn't carry me on your best day.
Perhaps if you left behind the spirits, all the weapons, and lost about 2 feet of beard.
Ah, I give up. Just keep walking. Elves turning into werewolves, huh? Walking on the wild side.
I never thought I'd ever set foot in a Dalish camp.
My mother was Dalish. They are a proud people, those who refused to bow to defeat.
Hello? I'm Kamen, a hunter apprentice. Though I wish I could become a real hunter. I shouldn't be talking about this to an outsider. You wouldn't understand. I suppose there's no harm in it. It's not like you can help me. I've been an apprentice for too long. To become a true hunter, I must bring back the pelt of a beast I killed myself. A boar or a wolf or something. I wanted to hunt in the forest, but we're forbidden to enter because of the attack. But the real problem is Gaina. She's my heart's desire. I have asked for her hand, but she cruelly refuses it. She will not bond with an apprentice, she says, and calls me a child. I am no child. If I was a hunter, I could prove it, but I cannot hunt, and Gaina will never bond with me. I feel so helpless. I shouldn't have brought it up. Just leave me to my misery. You think I haven't thought about this? There's nothing I can do. I suppose you could, but what good would that do? The situation hasn't changed. Really? I'm willing to try anything. Cyranas, oh ma Cyranas, I will pray to the goddess of love that you are successful. Oh, what do you want now? I told you everything already. I don't think there's anything I can tell you. My clanmates in the camp would be better at that.
Hey, Elf. You're all right.
Am I?
I was thinking that you're just all right.
Drunk again, Ogren?
Drunk again, Ogren? You sound like my father. He was all, "You're drunk. Stop wetting on the table."
How dare he?
At least my mom had the good sense to hide the booze from him, so, she could drink where he couldn't see her.
That's heartwarming.
Hey, buddy, let's not go crazy or anything. Keep your pants where I can see them.
We few wanderers greet you, Shemlin. We understand you are venturing into the haunted forest to save our brethren. I suspect your efforts may be in vain. An entire group of our hunters went into the forest to do as you intend, and they have not returned. Then you are very brave to adventure into such a place, even knowing the danger that awaits. Your courage impresses us greatly. Nothing will help us now. Least of all, the meddling of an outsider.
You are being most unkind, Cyril. Would you refuse our hunters' help simply because of the hand that offered it?
You shame me, Lethalan. I have allowed my bitterness to cloud my better judgment. Forgive me, Grey Warden. It is most difficult to forget the lessons the Shemlin have taught us.
It is even more difficult when you live amongst them, trust me.
Perhaps I can yet make amends. Stay while I spin a tale for our children. And then I will tell you of the forest if you desire. Come and join us then, all of you. Now, what say we tell the story of the fall of the Dales? Which of you children knows that best?
I think I do.
Yes? Then come, child. Oh, don't be frightened of the outsiders. Now, where do you suppose such a tale should begin?
When we were slaves?
Yes. Long ago, our people were slaves to an empire the Shemlin had built on the darkest magic. They took away our history and our language and left us nothing. And then that empire fell. We were freed.
Because Andraste came with her army, and Shartan joined her.
Yes. Andraste, the Shemlin prophet, came out of the south and challenged the Tevinter Imperium. Our ancestor, Shartan, fought at her side. And when the rebellion came to an end, we were given a new homeland in the west, the Dales. We began to rebuild the culture and history we had lost in our years of slavery. We worshipped the creators and made the Dales our home. Perhaps you know what happened next, stranger. Do you know what happened to the Dales? We started the war, did we? And you, child, what do you believe happened to the Dales?
The Shemlin wouldn't let us be.
Indeed. They resented that we would not worship their maker, and they resented our ways because they were so different from their own. The Shemlin nations grew cold towards the Dales. They called us blasphemers and tyrants, and declared war upon us, a great crusade. And which is worse, the actions of those who believed they were right, or the inaction of those who knew they were wrong? Oh, I am certain we played a part in our downfall. We believed that the Shemlin would not revoke their prophet's gift so lightly. We were wrong. They took our lands, forcing us to abandon our gods and live as beggars in Shemlin cities. But there were those of us who refused to abandon our ways. They emblazoned the symbols of the creators upon their flesh and vowed to keep their ancient lore alive.
That's us. That's the Dalish.
Indeed, child. We chose to wander, homeless, rather than be ruled by the Shemlin. And all our clans wander alone until the day we have a homeland once more.
Then we bring the old ways back to our people, because they have forgotten it all.
For we are the Dalish, the keepers of the lost lore.
The walkers of the lonely path.
We are the Elvenan, and never again shall we submit. And that is the tale of the Dales, stranger. Thank you for allowing us to tell it to you. perhaps another time. You are the guest here, and one who may yet prove of great help to our ailing hunters. Now, as I said I would, I can tell you what I know of the Brazilian forest. Do you wish to hear it? Our legends say that before the Shemlin came, the Brazilian forest was a place of our ancestors that predated even our oldest homeland. The people of the Imperium came here and gave the forest its name. If they found traces of our ancestors, we cannot say. If they did, those elves were slain or enslaved. We know only that a great many battles were fought here. These trees grow upon the graves of those who fell, Shemlin and elves both. Indeed. Very wise of you. There was so much death that the veil into the Beyond was torn. The Shemlin know the Beyond as the Fade, the place of dreams and spirits. When the veil is torn, spirits pass into our world freely. The legends say that one great spirit possessed the wolf that became Witherfang, who passed its curse of rage onto men and created werewolves. So Zathrian insists. He says that Witherfang does not age as the werewolves do. Witherfang is as much spirit as it is beast, and thus it is immortal. Perhaps it cannot even be slain. At the very least, it is old and powerful, much as Zathrian himself. The forest is said to be haunted. Spirits possess the trees, the wolves, even the bodies of the dead. They yearn for true life, you see. Who can say what value the Imperium placed on this land? And how many elves died here, in slavery? Even the barbarians, who came to overthrow the Imperium, fought and died on this soil. No one knows. When the Shemlin lived in these parts, the curse would spread anew to a few of them with each passing year. They would run off into the forest, never to be seen again. Eventually, all the Shemlin left. One assumes the werewolves survive by passing their curse to their offspring. They have had no new blood. Until now, that is. It is said that one or two have turned already, though the Keeper denies it. As for the rest, they will either die or turn, unless they are killed out of mercy. I would rather die than become a ravening, soulless beast. Wouldn't you? One last warning. The forest is like a thing alive. It changes as it wills, closing paths behind you and opening up new ones. Too many have become lost within, unable to find their way out. Were I you, I would endeavor not to make the forest my enemy. Dareth Shirol.
You know, Wynne, I have a friend back in Antiva who would be very excited to meet you.
I'm sorry.
Salvail prefers women with experience and maturity. He says they have more substance, are more robust and flavorful.
Does he now?
Indeed. No need to deny it. Zevran knows a fine bird when he sees one.
I am not a bird.
There is no reason to deny yourself the pleasure of male companionship, after all, yes? You might balk now, but I assure you, Salvail is a gentleman of means and quite handsome.
I am going to walk away now, calmly, coolly. This is to save you the pain of having your brain forcibly removed through your ears.
This must be a Ferelden thing, I swear.
What are you doing? You've warped the wood completely. Did you leave it out in the rain?
No, Master Ferrothorn. I think I just used too much heat.
You're not smelting ore like a Durgenlin. This is living wood. It requires patience and delicate hands, not more heat.
Elves and their wood shaping. It's unnatural. Why use wood when you got perfectly good metal and stone?
Spoken like a true child of the stone, my friend.
Who you calling a child, old man?
My actions bring me sorrow, Master Ferrothorn.
And so they should. Truly the art will be lost to us forever at this rate. Throw away your dead wood and start anew, and I shall speak to our guest. Now then, please forgive my distraction, stranger. Is there something that you need? Yes, the Keeper sent word that you might ask me for such. I took the liberty of assembling some goods that our hunters use. There is a large chest by the Araville, where I put everything we could spare. Feel free to sort through it and take whatever you need. I have nothing left that the clan could spare, but we do have goods that we were going to bring to the Shemlin villages to barter with. I'm the clan's craftsmaster. It's my responsibility to learn what I can of the ancient elven arts of shaping wood and ore. In truth, we Dalish know little of the art compared to what we once did. And even what we know has taken us many lifetimes to achieve. There is wood that, if treated properly, is as hard as steel but far lighter. It grows only in this forest, Ironbark. The Keeper has forbidden us from entering the forest to collect the wood. This means I cannot make our finest crafts for years to come. I would be hesitant to ask it of you, but if you should come across Ironbark, I suppose there would be no harm in gathering some. It is blue and very distinctive. You can only harvest the bark which has fallen off the tree from age. Now, if you find some, bring it to me, and I will craft it for you. I excel in making blades from the ironbark, or perhaps a breastplate, provided there's enough wood, that is. That would please me, so long as our hunters come first. Dareth Shiro, may the Creators visit fortune upon you.
What exactly are you drinking, my fine dwarven friend?
You can't have any.
Do not worry. The stench is worse than your feet.
And what are you doing smelling my feet, huh? Is that some Antivan perversion?
It is difficult not to smell your feet. Perhaps in Antiva.
Now you're beginning to sound like Bronca.
Well, she must have been a dwarf with astoundingly clean feet.
Andera Natishan, stranger. I am Athras. I hope the others have not been too harsh in their treatment of you. That is very generous of you. Most would assume we are unkind as a rule, and that is not the case. Especially not to a Grey Warden. But we have lost much, and it is easy to forget simple niceties at such a time. I understand you will search for the wolves in the Brazilian forest. I would join you, but Zathrian has forbidden me. None of us are happy about this situation, and I least of all. But I shouldn't speak too much about this, especially with an outsider. I am sure you have little interest in my problems. It's odd to talk so freely with a stranger, but perhaps you can help me. My wife Denilah and I both fought the werewolves in the ambush. She was injured so gravely, the curse spread rapidly in her. Zathrian fought hard to ease her pain, but there was little he could do. And though he says that Denilah is dead, he will not let me see her body. I am beginning to believe she became a werewolf, and that it is being kept from me so I do not go chasing after her. If I could just know if Denilah is alive, or what happened to her, then I could be at peace. No. It would be very rude to accuse the Keeper of lying. I know he means well. I just need to know, one way or another. If you were in the forest, perhaps you might come across her, alive or dead. Any news would be better than none. And in return, I would be happy to gift you an amulet made by our craftsmen. It may fetch you some coin in the human lands. You are most kind. Please, should you come across my wife, return and tell me.
You know, I've heard stories about your Circle of the Magi, my dear Wim.
Is that so?
There is a circle in my country, of course, but perhaps things are different here. I visited the Antivan Circle on official Crow business once. Met a beautiful young apprentice who was very eager for a taste of the outside world.
Please, please get to the point.
All I wonder is whether the Templars guard the mages here as closely as they do in Antiva. In Antiva, the Templars watch the circle like a jealous husband guarding the chastity of a wanton bride.
Interesting metaphor, but yes, it is not too different in Ferelden.
And is it also true that when the moon swells to fullness, the mages of the circle gather at the top floor of their tower and, naked under the stars, make love to each other?
What? No! Maker's breath.
Oh, I found out recently that it was not true in Antiva, and hoped that it would be in Ferelden. Alas.
Is there something you need?
I appreciate you trying to find him, but what are the chances?
Anarin the healer?
You know Anarin?
He lives? No, it can't be him. Perhaps it is a common elven name.
No, I know of only one Anarin.
Ah, it makes sense. Anarin said that he was from the human cities. You are old friends, then?
If you seek Anarin, you must venture into the forest. He prefers to be amidst the trees and the animals.
Thank you all so much.
Dareth Shiron.
Elf,
Ogren,
I have something to say to you.
I am all ears, as we elves like to say.
Well, now I forgot.
Alas.
But just know I had something.
You've had several somethings, I suspect. It's part of your charm.
Andarin Atishan, outsider. You spoke to him? What did he say? Oh. I don't expect an outsider to understand our ways, but I just can't bond with Kamen. He's been a hunter apprentice for over 2 years now, and he's yet to slay a proper beast. Each time he's tried, something has gone wrong. Perhaps the creators do not wish us to bond. I cannot bond with an apprentice hunter, can I? But what if he never becomes a proper hunter? What will become of our family? Oh, you are right. I have made poor Kamen miserable. No wonder he cannot complete his hunt. Masiranas, thank you. You have helped me put this into perspective. I will go and speak to Kamen. Kamen, I have been a fool.
Gaina? What do you mean? Have you changed your mind?
I have. The outsider has helped me to see that I was wrong. I have made you miserable, and I should not have.
But what about my hunt?
I don't care about that. I know you will pass your hunt in time, and we will be happy. Us and our children.
Thank you, Gaina. You've made me a happy man. I feel blessed by the gods today. We are both very grateful for the part you've played in bringing us together.
How marvelous you are. I am so happy.
Here, take this. It's been in my family for a very long time, but I hope it plays some part in your battle against the Darkspawn. It's the very least we could do.
I couldn't help hearing about your predicament. Forgive me if I'm prying.
Yes, you are.
But what does it feel like being possessed by a spirit?
Why does this interest you so?
I simply wish to get to know those that I travel with. Is that wrong of me?
No, of course it isn't. Well, let me see. It is hard to describe. It is comforting. I feel safe, loved.
Comforted, loved, yes.
It is like being held close, cradled. The bond is so complete that I am unable to extricate myself, nor do I wish to. Wait, why do you have that look on your face?
I am simply imagining it. Continue, please.
And there is a constant warmth that spreads outwards from the very center of my being, infusing my body with...
Oh...
Andraste's grace, what are you thinking about now? No, I don't want to know. I feel dirty. Do not speak to me.
Yes? What is it you need? Have you news? Make them quick, if you please. I have much to do here. My apprentice Lanaya or Sayrel, the clan's storyteller, could provide you with answers just as easily. She was one of the first to succumb to the curse. She is dead. Of course not. She is buried, as is our way. Athras is a grief-stricken man who seeks hope that does not exist. He will accept what has happened in time. I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
You have not asked me about my conscience for some time, my darling Wynne.
That is correct. And I am not your darling.
So once again I am rejected, just as I am by the cruel, cruel fates. They are harsh mistresses to the elves.
Zevran, I am old enough to be your grandmother.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
And what would you do with me if you had me, This is a game you play, nothing more.
Ah, you are a cynical woman, Wynne. Cynical and powerful. It drives me mad with desire. The Hala. The Dalish call them their guides. They even lead an elf to oblivion when he dies, or so they claim.
I hear only the Dalish can control the Hala. They listen to no one else.
It's them antler beasts, I swear.
Who comes? Oh, I beg your pardon, stranger. I was so busy attending to the Hala, I did not hear your approach. My name is Alora. I am the Master Herder in charge of caring for the Hala. Not as exciting as being a Grey Warden, but the Hala are vital to us. They are the noble beasts that pull our Aravel, what humans call landships. They are our companions and our guides. We ride the Hala, but never with reins or a saddle. It is the Hala who decide where to lead us, and our privilege that they take our Aravel with them. In return, it's the herder's job to speak to the Hala and care for their needs. It's a bond of friendship, and not servitude. I fear she may have been bitten during the werewolf attack. I have tried speaking with her, but she is too agitated for me to understand. The curse would not affect her as it would us, but it would still be lethal, and it may prove contagious to the other Hala as well. I can find no wound on her, but if she's truly ill, then I will have to put her out of her misery, for her sake as well as that of the others. I don't know. Do you have any skills that might help her? If you do, I would be grateful. And? What do you think? I am glad you attempted it regardless. Yes, that's it. She's calming down. That's it, love. Be calm. Tell me what troubles you. Ah, I see. It is her life mate who is sick, not her. He was bitten on the leg during the attack, and she fears greatly for him. I did not realize another Hala was injured. This will allow me to prevent the sickness from spreading to the entire herd. Masiranus, thank you. You have done my clan a great boon this day. I will always be grateful for your help.
You never did answer my question about that filth you so enjoy.
That's right, I didn't.
How is it that you never seem to run out? Are you purchasing it somewhere?
Nah, nobody sells the good stuff.
Then are you making it? I don't see a still at the camp. And you aren't walking around with a keg, so unless you're... Oh, no.
What? Where is that perverted elven mind of yours gone?
That would explain the smell. Suddenly, I'm not so interested in trying a sample. I'm more of a city elf myself. A forest like this just seems so very filthy.
Many enter this forest and are never seen again.
Let us dispatch them! And quickly!
So let us pretend that I do indeed believe that murder is wrong.
We are not having this conversation.
Were I to believe such a thing, what would I do with it? Feeling guilt about things one can no longer change seems so very time-consuming, with little hope for actual gain.
But you could change what you do in the future.
What would that require exactly? It seems to me that feeling guilty would take up a great deal of my time as it is.
Perhaps you could save a life instead. One for every life you have taken.
That is a great many lives to save and feel guilty as well. Perhaps I could do one or the other.
It is not a game, Zephyr. You either know right from wrong, or you do not.
I am so confused. I think I may cry. May I lay my head in your bosom?
No. No, you may not.
You are so very cruel. How is it that you do not feel guilty?
I feel guilty for ever having spoken to you.
The Watchwolves have spoken truly, my brothers and sisters. The Dalish and the human of all things to repay us for our attack, to put us in our place. What bitter irony. We are beasts, but we are no longer simple and mindless. Let that thought chill your spine. You speak to Swift Runner. I lead my cursed brothers and sisters. Turn back now. Go back to the Dalish and tell them that you have failed. Tell them we will gladly watch them suffer the same curse we have suffered for too long. We will watch them pay. Was it not Sathrian who sent you? He wishes only our destruction, never to talk. We have never met, he and I. He would not survive the experience. I swear it. You know nothing, do you? Nothing of us, and even less of those you serve. You are a fool, and we are done talking. Run from the forest while you can. Run to the Dalish and tell them they are doomed. I do not wish to fight you either, but we cannot trust you. Come, brothers and sisters, let us retreat. The forest has eyes of its own, and it will deal with intruders as it always has.
So is it very strange for you, my friend, living in the world of the tall?
Here I thought I was living in the world of the nosy and the stupid.
It just occurred to me. Chairs are too high, tables are out of reach. Using the toilet facilities alone must be a lesson in humility.
I'm not bloody 2 feet tall, you swishy nuglicker.
And then the light. After all that gloom of Orzammar and the deep roads, it's a wonder you don't wander about squinting in pain.
It is bright, I'll give you that.
And oh, not to have a roof over your head. You must constantly fear that you'll fall up into that vast, endlessly open sky. One day you'll live within the surety of a mountain, and then gone. Nothing but vacuum. Nothing to stop you from being sucked up into the void. Nothing to...
Stop! One more word, and I chop you down where you stand.
You are a brave, brave little soldier, my friend.
Who comes? We were sent to find Witherfang, bring his heart. Attacked. Where am I? Am I still in the woods? I see. What of the other hunters? Do they yet live? I hope that they found safety. Though it seems unlikely. Traces only. We did not see the great wolf itself. Before the werewolves attacked. We tried our best, but too many. Pain!
And Darren Atishan, Grey Warden. Our scouts saw you approaching and tell me you carry the body of one of our hunters with you. Ah, Dagon. He is wounded, but I think he will live. Ma Siranas, your help is appreciated. Come, Lethaline, let us take Dagon to the Keeper, and quickly. If we are lucky, we may still save him.
I just don't understand you elves. Not one bit.
Oh? Where is your comprehension lacking?
These humans, they turn you all into slaves. What do they do now? They destroy your homeland. Twice.
What is your point, dwarf?
Well, I just don't understand. Why don't you just kill them all?
There are a great many more humans than elves, if you haven't noticed.
So? There's 100 humans for every dwarf, too, but you don't see us bending over and getting our pipes clean, do you?
That's big talk for a man who lives in a tunnel.
All I know is the dwarves would never stand for it. You'd think you elves would have learned to duck.
That must be it. Exactly.
What manner of beast be thee that comes before this elder tree? How do I speak? The same as you. I form the words and sound them true. Now I have answered a query of thine, but thou hast yet to answer mine. Ah, yes. I remember thy kind, so brief of life and all but blind to the peril you cause, the lives you take. Such chaos is sown within thy wake. Allow me a moment to welcome thee. I am called the Grand Oak, sometimes the Elder Tree.
It's a poet tree. A poetry. Don't you get it?
The world is certainly full of marvelous, unexpected creations. Each day we see something that we never thought possible.
And unless thou think'st it far too soon, might I ask of thee a boon? I am an elder oak and nothing more. Though once I dreamt of a time before when I roamed the world and howled with pain, not of this world, but twixt and twain. Perhaps I was a spirit then, a wandering thing drawn to this glen. But then that spirit joined with a tree. Since then, a tree is all I be. There are many just as I, but mad they are, I shall not lie. A spirit trapped within a tree, no mouth to scream or eyes to see. A cage of bark, a prison wood, a thing of rage where nature stood. So twisted sylvan they become, but I am not the same as some. I accept my fated oaken home. I feel no need to rage and roam. I do not know. Why dost thou not? Thy words seem plain, a mundane lot. Perhaps a poet's soul's in me. Does that make me a poetry? It was but a simple jest, a jibe to entertain my guest. I can only speak to what a tree may say.
It's a poet tree. A poetry. Don't you?
That is but a human name, one placed upon this land their claim. A claim they stole from ancient elves, whom they first killed, and were killed themselves. It was the elves who planted the seeds, raised the forest, saw to its needs. But that was all so long ago. That they are dead is all I know. A great war, perhaps. I cannot tell. I was not here when it befell. But many deaths here, all the same. And with the deaths, the spirits came. The spirits entered corpse and tree, and most went mad, as thou canst see. The forest had a spirit of its own, from back when its first seeds were sown. Perhaps she died of grief that day, or perhaps she simply went away. Or perhaps the wares are the ones to blame, for the day she left is the day they came. I speak as clearly as I see. Plainer than this, I cannot be. Most of what was is overgrown, leaving only broken stone. Perhaps some ruins remain free of rot. I know not where, I see them not. In the center of the forest the wares do dwell, or so go the tales my fellows tell. But they cannot be followed there. The forest doth protect the wares. Perhaps wares use magic to command the trees. All I know is they move as they please. Perform the boon as I ask, and I shall reward thee for the task. I have but one desire, to solve a matter very dire. As I slept one early morn, a thief did come and steal an acorn. All I have is my being, my seed. Without it, I am alone indeed. I cannot go and seek it out, yet I shall die if left without. Go to the east to find this man. I shall await. Do what thou can.
I think I have a joke for you, my fine dwarven friend.
Just don't expect me to laugh.
So, a human, an elf, and a dwarf are walking down a trail beside a stream, and they stop to take a piss.
All right, things are looking up. Continue.
After, the human takes out some soap and begins washing his hands. We humans have learned how to be clean and hygienic, he says to the others. The elf begins picking some leaves off the trees and wipes his hands with them. We elves do as tradition has taught us and use what nature has provided. The dwarf, meanwhile, has pulled up his trousers and is already on his way down the trail. And our ancestors, he calls back, taught us dwarves not to piss on our hands.
Shows what you know about dwarves. All right, I guess you aren't all that bad.
You just decided that, did you?
Well, I've watched you fight. You could be worse, I guess.
From you, that's practically a proposal of marriage.
Don't get excited or nothing. You're not what I'm looking for in a wife.
Considering what happened to your last wife, I'll count myself as fortunate.